Hi guys, so this is Strong Body, Strong Mind podcast. This is 2024 as well, actually. Happy New Year, everyone. We having a good one. I'm Jamie,
I'm Callum.
and today we are going to be talking about fear of asking on the gym floor. We're kind of going to go into a bit more kind of detail and depth about kind of what can go through people's minds through our experiences. Obviously, Callum's kind of on the gym floor a little bit more than me, so we're kind of giving a bit more detail around that and things you can do to overcome those fears as well. And we're just going to jump straight in there today, unless you want to add anything in there, Cal.
Not at the moment. No, I it's a great summary. So let's
Cool.
rock on.
I like it. So, a few things we've kind of come up with as well is people don't tend to like to ask questions of anyone in the gym. And that could be either just asking for help, whether it is to do with an exercise, whether it's to do with a certain piece of equipment. Um, Cal, have you got anything to add to that? Because, like I said, I think we were talking about this just before, and I think you brought some
I
really
think it
good
can
points. So,
also go the opposite way. If especially if there's small groups of like young people, it can even be intimidating for a coach to go in and go, right, you could do this better, you could do that better. Just because of the way they kind of situate themselves around a bit of kit. So I think it can go both ways, but definitely when it comes to asking an authoritative figure in anything, there's always a fear of not being up to it, not feeling worthy of asking the question. Where at the end of the day is if you don't ask, you're never gonna know.
yeah, I think one of the points you brought up there about congregating people. Now, gym I train at, great gym. People refer to it as the best gym in the world. Tall, a bit of a stretch, but decent though. But yeah, so you'll have a lot of PTs, for example, congregating around the kind of reception area. There's nothing wrong with that. But one thing I find it quite intimidating. And I'm a personal trainer, coach. I kind of have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing when I go to the gym.
Are you sure about
And
that?
well, it's debatable. But I think body language is a big thing as well. And this is even for professionals as well within in the field. And I think that it's quite normal for anyone to kind of second guess themselves, thinking, "Am I asking a stupid question, or is that person a PT? Is that person a PT as well?" And I think you brought up a really good point about Stuart Aitken, didn't you?
Yes.
To be fair, regardless of what he
Um,
kind of wore in the gym once.
yeah, he wore a t-shirt saying "Ask me anything," and he said the amount of people that came and actually asked because he wore a a symbol, basically, telling directing people where to go to ask a question was phenomenal. And he said that that's just a little tip that you can use. Sometimes if you open up the conversation before someone's even thought about it, it can help them so much.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I would say, and this is for kind of like an everyday gym goer, is try well, but when you started, you've kind of just touched on then, to be fair, Callies, try and have conversations with people that you feel comfortable with, people who you feel who are approachable. Because not everyone is in the gym. I put things out on my social media and ask my clients about, are you quite open to having conversations with people on the gym floor? A lot of people answered no. And I was quite shocked. And I'm generally speaking, I like to think I'm quite approachable. I like to talk to people. But since kind of training in the gym, just for my own benefit, I have noticed myself go into my shell a little bit because of the way the gym floor is, and that's not anyone's fault. It's just people go in, either get on with it, but like females, for example, could find that they get stirred at a lot by kind of the gym creeps as such, and vice versa as well. And it's quite a normal thing that you are going to kind of second guess yourself, but by trying to pinpoint who, so it might not be the first time you go in, but it might be if you're going to the gym, you can do what you're going to do. And we've kind of spoken last season or last series about kind of what you can do when you go into the gym. So like 5 minutes, obviously do what you're going to do. But if you're pick out who you kind of see as an authoritative figure, and if they're a personal trainer, if they're a general manager, whatever their kind of job is, try and approach them and have a conversation with them. like as Cal, like in terms when he's on the gym floor, do you have like a personal trainer on your back, or somebody that kind of shows that you're a PT? And I think you've kind of got to be aware of what's going on around you and not be afraid to engage those conversations, because even if it's kind of someone who's not a PT, they are unlikely to kind of laugh at you in terms of you asking, are you a PT, or can you help me with this? Generally speaking, everyone's there for the same reason, generally speaking, and we'll kind of touch on points in a second about those who aren't. But generally speaking, everyone's there to better themselves. Whether they conduct themselves in a manner that is conducive to what you want is another thing. It doesn't mean they wouldn't help.
No, and I think that's the great thing about a gym environment is everyone is there to better themselves. Like no one's there to make themselves feel worse. That just doesn't happen. Whether they're there for their mental aspect, their physical aspect, both, they're generally there to train the same principles as you are. And yeah, you might get the one or two that have got no interest in helping someone. They're just there for themselves. That's completely fine. That's not an issue. But most people will be open to have a conversation with you, whether it's a 2 minute conversation. You can get yourself into a loophole of speaking to someone for an hour and then you have to leave having done nothing. But yeah, you find the people that you can relate to and then you build connection from there.
Yeah, yeah. One thing you could ask now, anyone who's listening to this who is one of Callum's clients getting to do this, is where get your personal trainers or ask the management in the gym, or if it works that way, I don't know. Get them to wear high vis jackets. so you know so you know who's who. But then again, it could be a case of it's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, if you're asking that question, you don't know who to ask for help, and there are PTs on the floor. That's from the personal trainer's point of view, that's bad for business for them and for us, because obviously you don't know who we are, you can't identify us. And at the same time, for the gym in question, is they're going to encourage that, or they're going to try and push it with the staff as such, or people who kind of rent the space. It's going to be better for them because they're going to retain that membership from that individual or you who's asking that question. Obviously, there'll be a conversation between the PTs and the gym itself on how they might go about it, but that's not a bad thing to kind of consider, is ask the questions of who's who, and then that's going to help you. If you don't have a coach, that is as well, I would suggest getting a coach. That's going to make it easier for you to identify who's who, so you can do what you need to do and kind of feel comfortable, essentially. What do you reckon about that, Carl?
I would also suggest that when it comes to asking a question, the only way you're not going to get an answer is if you don't ask. That's the only outcome that happens where you don't get the answer you're looking for, is if you don't ask. You might get an answer you're not looking for by asking, but the chances are a lot higher you get an answer you need from asking the question.
And it's as simple as that. Simple as that. Next point we want to kind of focus on is groups of people and how that can be quite off-putting, essentially, when you are going into the gym. And you'll probably notice it. And I was speaking to one of my clients about this, and he's saying, went to the gym once in the evening. He said it was end of January, said it was absolutely heaving. I think he did one or two exercises, went on because he was just so busy. But what he was saying was it was crazy because, and again, if you are a teenager, this isn't coming at you. I think it's great you're in the gym, 100%. But what you'll find is younger people will probably go together and congregate around like a certain piece of equipment, and they'll take up a lot of space. And it can be that alone can be quite intimidating. And that's just one of those things. I think it's just human nature to kind of think that way. Whether they're threatening or not is another thing. But again, like we said before about just kind of steer clear of kind of that area if you can, and don't be afraid to kind of do other exercises or have like a plan B of what you may or may not was going to do in that session if that equipment's kind of taken up as well. Because at the same time, if you're going in with one thing you want to focus on, the gym is busy, that's going to affect you as well, and it's going to kind of have a negative impact on you and kind of what you want to do, especially if you're not sure what to do after that.
Yeah, and it's also like what, as a coach who works on the gym floor, a coach should never be scared to walk up to a group of people and go, like, split up. Like, there's 6 of you, go and work with your buddy. You don't need to be all here, taking up the machine for an hour. You can do it in 10-minute blocks each. Away you go.
Yeah.
There are ways and means around it. I just think at times, more your general population gyms or your commercial gyms, I think the managers or the PTs or the on staff don't always approach the people when needed. And that causes the gym intimidation for someone that has to come in and face that when it's a crowded gym.
Yeah. There's a lot of, it's a good point that about, it comes back to a point we were saying before about inquire or speak to those in charge, drop an email, let them know who you are if you need help. Again, it's very unlikely that they're going to turn you away or completely ignore it. They want, we're putting it bluntly, they want your money. They want it in that business, essentially. And again, it's for the benefit of you because you're going to be looking to improve yourself, it's going to improve your confidence. For them, it's going to improve revenue. As harsh as it sounds, or as blunt as that sounds. And like you said, Cal, about kind of, I think from like a personal trainer or like a gym floor person point of view, splitting them up, it's not a bad thing. Actually, people go together to train. I don't think it is like, but like you say, it's probably more than 2, maybe 3 at a push. Is probably too long to be resting around an exercise, to be fair, because you can't share equipment that way. You could do that. You could always go in and ask someone, can you kind of, I don't know what you call it, to be fair, share a piece of equipment or kind of jump in between sets, possibly. You could ask that question if you're comfortable with that. Me personally, I wouldn't. I would always do something else just because that's the way my mind thinks. I can't, unless I know someone who kind of knows how I train, spotting things like that. I'm just not comfortable with that. That does not mean that that can't work for you, essentially.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially if it's like a bigger group. If you go and ask, can I like tag in with your set? How long are you waiting? Because if they're taking 10 minutes to get round, that's a hell of a long time you're waiting for it to get to your second setting.
Yeah.
So it is about eyeing up the situation and making the right choice for you, as in what you want to do.
Question is, Carl, have you done that in the past? Gone with a group of people into the gym and trained?
No, I have not.
Yeah, never mind, mate. Never mind. Definitely have.
I used to run a group sessions, but that's completely different.
Yeah, well, yeah. I remember I did. To be fair, if it wasn't for the group of guys I was with, I'd have probably died from bench press on the neck, mate. Barbell on the neck. So
Wouldn't have been a loss, would it?
it would have been a loss, mate. It would have been a big loss to the world, mate. But yeah, so generally speaking, as well, if you, this is a bit kind of left field as well, kind of asking people for help, is generally speaking, people are a little bit older, we'd say middle age, or like 35 plus potentially. Again, you've got to be careful of kind of identifying people because some people look younger, some people look older as well. So just be aware of this. But if they kind of look, if you've said hello just in passing to someone, they look like they know what they're doing. There'd be nothing wrong in asking the question, in my opinion, to say, could you help with this, or do you know this or that, blah, 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 whatever it may be as well. Now, this goes against about whether it's useful information to you, but there's no harm in asking, to be fair, because again, those who are possibly a little bit older might know a little bit more because they're going to be a little bit more well researched around kind of what they're doing, and they possibly would have had a PT in the past as well. What's your kind of stance on that, Cal, actually?
I
know there's a lot of caveats to that as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
there's so many different ways you can look at it. I think I'll take it from a PT's point of view. Make yourself as approachable as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Say hi to everyone that walks into the gym, hi to everyone you pass, because if you can be the first roadblock in that person's journey if you're shut off when they walk into the gym.
Yeah.
And you're closed off and they don't have a conversation starter because you've crossed your arms, you're looking down at the floor, you're not paying attention. just make yourself as approachable as you can.
Yeah, there's this one lady in the gym that I train at, and there's two or three actually saying that, who know everyone. They even know me, but I'm relatively new to the gym. They know me, I get on with them really well, but they're so bubbly and they will say hello to absolutely everyone. Even to the point where it's like they'll stop them halfway through a set to say hello. That's not a bad thing. I mean, it is if you're kind of in an intense set, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I'm not saying you should do that as an individual, because that'd be catastrophic. But it's if you are kind of people people are more likely to engage with you and make you feel more comfortable if you engage with them, or at least show that you're open to it. As you've kind of said, Carl, I think from a professional point of view, personal trainers should do that. And if the personal trainers listen to this, definitely you should be as open as possible and be very, very approachable as much as you can be. Because again, at the end of the day, you should, well, you don't have to be a people person, but your job is to make people in the gym feel super comfortable. Our job, mine as well, to make people feel super comfortable and confident. And that's the same for absolutely everyone. There's no reason why not everyone can't do that, essentially. So I think so we've got hard to ask, age people, groups of people. That's loads of people. Well, I think that might be it, Carl. I think that might be it, pal.
Nice. Nice,
Absolutely.
sharp. Point.
Absolute flown about that. Now we did say that we would come up with kind of a theme type question, didn't we? At the end of it, I hadn't thought of one actually. Let's have a look. Theme question at the end of this, right? Right, we'll go with something super easy. Now, what we want to do in this kind of series as such is talk about things that we like interest-wise as well, and how, well, basically give it a little bit more of kind of who we are as people, to be fair. Today's question, we are going to be, well, it's very, very simple to be fair. It's one name or another. Will be kind of based around football. Who is going to replace Jurgen Klopp, the current Liverpool manager, who is leaving, the devastating news is leaving at the end of the season? Who's replacing him, Cal? Seems you like
It's gotta be Alonso. I'd put all money on it.
Have you done that? I'll tell you what.
No, I have not done that, but
I think you should do that, mate. I think you should open your phone, download Bet365.
I definitely will not be doing any of that. But that's my topic, and that's what I want as well.
Yeah. I think that. I think it'll be Xabi Alonso as well. I think he's class. He's very new, and he's unbeaten as well. They're playing this weekend, aren't they, as well?
Yep. Unbeaten. And yeah, the style of play he plays is enjoyable. It's frantic. It's possession based. It's slightly different to what Liverpool play under Klopp, but easily transferable, which is what you want.
Yeah.
And he's also a Liverpool legend, so that helps.
Yes, of course. He's class, to be fair. He's class. So let's add like a second one to this then, because obviously he's going to be the new Liverpool manager.
Yeah.
You want, and I think as well. What score do we think Leverkusen and Munich will be on Sunday?
Is it that game on Sunday?
It's Sunday, mate. I tell you what, mate. This weekend's class has got Real Madrid and Girona, top of the league clash in La Liga,
Yeah.
and then you've got Leverkusen and
it's in Munich, is it? No, where is it?
No, it's Leverkusen. Yeah.
I'm gonna go for 2-0 Leverkusen.
Oh no! What about Harry Kane? Oh.
I think Harry Kane will get shut out.
He scored in the last game, didn't he? It was 2-0, weren't it? I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was 2-0, wasn't it? Yeah, he scored.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go for 2-1 Leverkusen win as well. I don't want Leverkusen to win. I want Bayern Munich. I want Harry Kane to win something. I don't even know why. I'm a Blackburn fan, for God's sakes.
How bad would it be if Harry Kane went to Germany and didn't win though?
Mate, it'd be typical, wouldn't it?
It would be
typical.
One of the world's greatest strikers, and you won nothing.
Yeah, he is good though, mate. He's
He's very good.
He's good. Okay, guys. So that is all from Strong Body Strong Man podcast today. I am Jamie,
I'm Callum.
and we shall see you or speak to you next week, guys. Have a good one.